Hello and welcome to day 2 of your Navigate Your Way to More Success in 7 days. And today we're learning how to drive. So to recap, we said that there were 4 things that we need to do to be able to navigate our way to more success. And they are identifying our destination, so what does success look like? Know where we are now, our starting point, and then we can start to work out how we're going to get there. But the 4th point, and the most crucial point, is learning how to drive. And so we're going to spend a few days working on this element of it, because it will make the biggest difference when we know how to actually take over from our autopilot and to manage ourselves. And so for day 1's challenge was to notice, just to observe when you're reacting to something, and then to consider whether the outcome led to you feeling good or to you feeling not good. And that really gives you the clue as to how to learn to drive and to get into that driving seat. Learning when we're reacting and learning what that feels like as a result. Because there are 3 key steps to driving. And those key steps are understanding the information that we're receiving, learning how to understand and then use the controls, and then use the information received to take action using those controls. So when we're driving a car, we are absorbing a huge amount of information, usually through our eyes, our ears, and also through our bodies, our feeling. So if we start to feel the wheel is pulling to one side or the other, for example, and then knowing how we might need to adjust because of that. And we do that exact same thing in terms of absorbing loads of information using our senses every single moment of every single day. Maybe a little bit less when we're asleep, but nevertheless our subconscious is always listening, watching, ready to take over and to protect us. The problem is in our lives, we're so used to our subconscious running our lives that we've kind of got out the habit, or maybe we never even learned how to absorb a lot of that information. So for example, in a conversation, let's say at work, we may not notice somebody's body language or their tone of voice, or perhaps what else is going on for that person which may have caused them to speak to us in that way or to look at us potentially in that way. There's a huge amount of processing there, and that's not even including deciding how we're going to interpret the information and choosing how we're going to react. And that's why it's so much easier to let our subconscious do the driving for us. And that's okay if you're happy with your life and yourself. And that's the purpose really of the day 1 challenge, was to actually start to notice those reactions and whether we end up with good feelings or not good feelings. But if you want to create more happiness and more success, there's a huge amount of freedom and enjoyment from learning how to drive yourself. We're going to do an activity now called the belief behaviour model. It's brilliant for just breaking down the steps that our autopilot and our subconscious take in determining how to react. So let's go through that together. So first of all, we have an activating event. The reason it's called an activating event is because we've got an A, B, B, C. It just makes it easier for this model to be remembered. So an activating event is something that happens in our lives which causes us to react in some way. And we're going to stick with the driving theme, and let's imagine that we're driving to work. So we're driving to work and we're going along nicely, minding our own business, and suddenly someone pulls out on us. They pull out at a junction and we are forced to brake or slow down or swerve. That's the first reaction. The second one is depends upon our belief. Now, let's imagine in this first instance that we believe something negative. So we believe that they were just inconsiderate, they're idiots, they are really bad drivers. Or maybe we believe that they believe they are better than us, that they have the right to pull out because they are more important than us. Now that belief is going to flavour our behaviour, because when we then believe that they are a bad person, a bad driver, irresponsible, selfish, we then can react to that when we're on autopilot. And usually, particularly when I do this example in lots of training courses, the behaviour that results is quite a lot of swearing, gesticulation, chasing the car, maybe tailgating them, maybe beeping the horn, or waving at them, shouting at them. And all of that, of course, leads to negative consequences. Maybe we don't crash, but we could. Maybe we don't bump into somebody, but we could. Maybe we don't notice when someone is trying to cross the road and actually we almost cause an accident ourselves. But even if those things don't happen, we end up in a bad mood. And then we go to work and we tell everybody we see what this bad driver did to us, and that negativity spreads around the office. And so we end up feeling bad for quite a while, an hour, a morning. It flavours our whole day and our interactions. And all of that happened because somebody pulled out of the junction and we believe there was a negative intention or a negative reason for doing that. So that's maybe how our autopilot wants to protect us. There was another really powerful example of this where somebody was driving to work, somebody pulled out on them. Their belief became it's not safe to drive, and so their behaviour as a result of that was they haven't driven since. They take their bike to work, they walk to work, and they teach their children, they drill it into them that actually driving other drivers are not safe. And so the consequence of that has been he's unable to take his children on long drives because he won't drive them. So our subconscious, you can see how it's trying to protect him, but not necessarily in a way that ends up being really helpful for him and for his family. And he ends up being quite nervous and anxious because of that. So let's rewind and let's see what happens if we choose a different belief, because we do have some choices around this. We just need to have that moment in time for us to realise that we have a choice. So, same activating event. We're going to work, minding our own business, quite happy, somebody pulls out at the junction. Now, what if this time we believe that actually they have forgotten something, they're in a rush, they're going to a really important interview, or they had just got dressed, ready to go to work, and the baby was sick on them, or the childminder was late, or maybe they just made a mistake and they didn't notice us, they're having a bad day. If we believe that, and it's got nothing to do with us, it's just that they're having a bad day, then our behaviour will be a lot kinder, more patient and more generous. So in our training course, what people say is that they wave them on, they back off, they give them some space, they wish them well, and maybe they carry on doing that as well. So actually, maybe the next person they see who needs some help, they'll slow down and be more considerate. But either way, the consequence is they feel better about themselves. They go to work feeling calm, something positive has happened already in their day, and that positivity gets passed around the office because they go in there feeling calmer, kinder, more patient, and just on a bit more of a higher note. And the only thing that changed in that was what we choose to believe. The activating event was the same, but what we choose to believe. So for today, it's just about learning that we have some choices around what we believe, and that our beliefs lead to our behaviour, which we'll look at more tomorrow. So your challenge for day 2 is just to notice when your automatic reaction is not a good feeling. So for example, your automatic reaction leads to you feeling angry or resentful, or even they think they're better than me. And then consider choosing a different thought. For example, maybe they're having a tough day, or maybe they made a mistake, or maybe just, it's okay. I'm okay, it's okay, they're okay, it's fine. So today, your challenge, notice your automatic reaction and then consider choosing a different reaction if it's a negative one. Good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.